Okay, so today's an exciting day. We have had the hot tub going for quite some time, a couple months now, and it's time for us to drain and clean the whole system. And being the super sustainable people that we are, we don't want all of the water from our tub to go to waste. So what we are going to do is reclaim it all for use on all of the various plants that we've got here in our garden, a bunch of which are here on the steps behind me. So let's go out to the tub here and take a look at how we're going to do this. Okay, so our Intex spa is supposed to be about 290 gallons at full capacity, and as you can see, we are up to about the maximum fill line. We're a little bit off level, so on this side it's reading below, but average that out and I'm going to say we're pretty close to being at maximum capacity. So I'm going to estimate that we've got 290 gallons here to drain. And as you may have seen in some of our earlier videos, we recycle all of our rainwater here in Southern California that comes off of our roof. Every little drop that we can catch is valuable to us, and we want to use it to water our plants. So we've got a bunch of water barrels. I've collected 4 of these so far from around the house and brought them over here next to the spa to fill up. Each one of these smaller ones, I believe, is a 50-gallon capacity. The larger one, I believe, is a 60-gallon capacity. It might be 70. It's been a while since we bought them, so I don't really remember. But I'm just going to assume that they're all 50 and add them up. So essentially what we've got here right now is 200 gallons worth of capacity to fill. I've got a couple of other water barrels, but I thought I would start with these 4 and see how far down we drain the water level. In the end, we may actually have to do some picking up and dumping or some actual draining out of the main drain from the spa in order to get this thing completely emptied so that we can clean it and fill it up again with fresh, clean, new water. Yeah, the Intex spa does have its own drain system. You can see the drain plug there down in the bottom, and that leads to a drain outlet over here on the outside, and that connects. It has a fitting connection on the end under that cap where you can screw a hose on and run that hose to wherever you want the water to drain out to, water plants directly if you want to do that, or to just drain it out to your water main in your street if you're just in that kind of predicament where you want to get rid of your water directly. But we're not. So instead of starting with the built-in draining system, what I'm going to do is use a submersible pump, which I've got right here. This one is made by Ruhl, and it is 360 gallons per hour, or 1,363 liters per hour. That's the flow rate of this pump. I've got it. It's got a little filter on the bottom to make sure crap doesn't run through the pump. And it is submersible, so this guy will drop to the bottom of the pool. I put a little weight on top, a 5-pound weight. Feed it in there. All right, all set on that end. I'm gonna remove my bromine filter for the draining process. And then this pump is actually made to run on 12 volts DC so that you can use it, connect it directly to your battery on a boat. If you're out in the middle of a lake or in the ocean and you have a leak in your boat, it's made to pump water out of your boat so that, you can stay afloat and keep yourself from going under. But in this case, I've hooked up a hose to it, and we're gonna run that hose into our water barrels. And I've also wired up a switching converter here. So this is essentially turns AC power, 110 is what we've got here in the United States coming out of our mains, into that 12 volt DC that this requires at the right amperage in order to power the pump. So there's no switch. I didn't put a switch on, so you just plug it in and it activates the pump, and unplug it when you're done. I've run my extension cord, so let's get this hose set up and start draining. All right, here we go. Water barrel number 1 is starting to fill. We'll let that go, and then we will switch our hose to our consecutive water barrels all around, and probably add a few more water barrels before all is said and done here. Okay, we are almost at capacity here for barrel number 1. And it looks like we've really only taken the tub down from the maximum to the minimum line on this side. And accordingly, again, because the whole thing's not quite level, a little bit lower than the minimum on that side. So we've got a long, long way to go.
Okay, so we're almost done draining this thing. You can see all the yucky stuff at the bottom. I've been progressively wiping it down during this process. Oh, I gotta stop the pump. As you can see, we're getting pretty low on the water level. I have been wiping this out as we've been going to try to get it clean, but you can see there's lots of debris and stuff. Hopefully you can see, I don't know. Anyway, we have filled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 water barrels, but we've actually filled probably 7 because I've been progressively watering with it, maybe even 8, in order to make more space for the water. And I think I'm going to water some of these plants along the back wall using the hose attachment at the bottom, but I want to get another barrel and see if I can get more out with the pump. I also took the liberty of watering my neighbor's tree that never gets any water. There's 2 of them. They never get water, so I try to give them water. Rambaldi, where are you going, sir? Oh, I gotta go take care of the cat. Be back. Okay, so we added 1 more barrel, and now we're pretty much almost done with the draining with the pump. We've gone as far as the pump can go. Well, there's barely any water left. It actually worked to our advantage that our spa is on a slight slant.
Right. Yeah, because all the water pooled to one side.
Yeah.
We're accidentally brilliant.
Yeah, accidentally brilliant. So now we're going to, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to wipe it out, but in addition to that, we're going to drain the rest of the tub using this hose attachment here.
Using the actual draining mechanism for the hot tub.
Right. And hopefully we can water these plants if there's enough pressure. So, oh, that was really easy to pull. So that's good to note.
Yeah, you just pop that little plug right there.
Well, I mean, that's good to note when you're in the thing, not to pull that accidentally. All right. I think we might have to tip it.
Yeah.
There's handles for a reason, people. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, and it's totally pooling up here.
Is it doing anything in the hose over there?
Let's take a look. Our hose is a little kinked, so we might have to unkink our hose as well. But let's take a look. Not yet. Let's do a little hose unkinking.
Okay, so it's empty. We finally just ended up dumping it. The plan would have been to dump it this way, but we weren't thinking ahead, and we put the rain barrel there, so that was in the way.
Live and learn.
We won't do that next time. We had to disconnect the pump, which I think we were supposed to do anyway. And so now I'm just gonna wipe it out and clean it up, and then we'll fill it. Oh, this is vinegar spray. You're not supposed to use any sort of soaps because it makes it sudsy. So this is just vinegar and water that I'm gonna use to help with the cleaning process, but most people just use water. So they just use a rag or something. But so that's what I'm gonna do.
All right, so let's give credit where due. My lovely wife did the bulk of the heavy lifting here and essentially cleaned this thing to spotless perfection. I am just getting the last bits up now. There was just a bit of water residue left over that we wanted to get out to make sure that there were no, like, you know, hard to see dust particles laying around still in here. So next up, it's time to put this thing back together again, and that involves reattaching the pump and air housing sockets, and then putting our filters back in the C slots. If you want to see how this is done, I'm going to skip it in this video, but you can check out our original tub life video where I go through this process. It's just the same thing again. And when that's all set, we will start to fill this puppy back up again. All right, our pump is reconnected. Everything is good to go. I have plugged back up the drain stopper. Kind of reoriented the thing back where it's supposed to go, sitting on its pad on our little scratch-built patio. I have put our filters back in, and we are ready to start filling. Here we go. All right, so water is flowing and starting to pool, and I just want to check my outside drain, make sure that nothing is coming out. It is not, so we are good to fill this thing all the way back up again. Okay, so it's time to put this water to good use. I'm going to give you a little demo here on why I love these water barrels. Besides their high capacity, they have really wide-lipped mouths at the top, which makes it super easy for me to take my big old watering can and just dip it right in there. Fill it all the way up. Cool, so let's take this over to the lime tree, which gets 2 cans. When we do water it, it gets a deep watering, I think twice a week. My wife can clarify on that. So let's do that now. Right, so here in the Parkway we just finished, and there is a video called Parkway Perfection in our Home, Our Castle playlist if you want to learn more about what we did here in this Parkway garden that we've developed. This is our lime tree. I believe it's in its 3rd year, and as you can see, it is producing some amazing limes. We've been using them in our drinks all summer, and it's just been a real blessing. This tree is fantastic. So what I want to do is give this a nice deep watering all along the outside. So you see how far the tree's branches have gone out? Well, think of a mirror in the ground. As far out as the branches have gone, that's how far the roots have gone underground. So you want to water out about that far to make sure the roots get lots of water. So I'm going to go ahead and give this 2 cans, and we'll be good to go. Right, so that is the tour of how we reclaimed our water from our spa, filled it up with beautiful new water after a good cleaning, and how we're going to use all that water for our garden. In the end, we did fill up, I've got 6 barrels here with an average capacity of about 50 gallons each. And while we were filling these up, we actually went through almost an entire barrel, maybe 3/4 of a barrel's worth of water, watering the plants just during the drain time, because I was kind of doing the 2 things simultaneously. So I would actually say 7 barrels. So my estimate of how much water the spa holds is a little higher than 290. I say it was closer to 350 once all that water was drained out into our separate 50-gallon containers and added up again. Maybe around 340. That's my new rough guess now. So maybe I'm filling the spa too high. Maybe the estimates online for how much the maximum capacity of the spa are not accurate. Either way, we ended up with about 340 gallons of water, and I'm going to estimate that's going to go, we're going to go through that probably in about a week and a half here because we have so many plants in our garden to water. But I'm going to get to it because I've got only about an hour left before the sun is too high in the sky and it's too hot to be outside here. So let's get to watering, and I will see you in the next one.